If this is a tunnel, and we confirm it with today's drilling, first thing I want to do is run a tape. Where's the money pit?
We got some wood here, Terry.
What's the approximate depth?
That's 78. What do you want to call it, 75?
Call it 75.
The ground on Oak Island has held its secrets tight for centuries. Now it's starting to talk. Rick Lagina and the team just made a shocking discovery in a new borehole, finding a strange man-made structure deep beneath the surface. Experts are buzzing, suggesting it could be medieval. This changes everything, and a massive dig is already being planned down the rabbit hole. You see, for years, decades, even centuries, people have been digging on Oak Island, searching for a treasure that's become the stuff of legend. The Lagina brothers, Rick and Marty, have poured their lives and fortunes into this quest, following clues that have twisted and turned, leading them all over this mysterious little island in Nova Scotia. But truth be told, nothing could have prepared them for what they just found. The team decided to drill in a new location, a spot designated as Borehole D05 and 27, right near the well-known garden shaft. Everyone was holding their breath as they always do. Then, at just 11 feet down, the drill hit something solid. It wasn't rock, it was wood. Old waterlogged pieces of wood started coming up, which is always a sign that humans were here long ago.
Hold the phone, boys.
That looked like wood there now.
We got wood.
If this comes up with all wood, it's the long sought for, long elusive 6.
Right.
But as the drill went deeper, a much stranger picture began to form. At the bottom, they found evidence of a bizarre rectangular structure. This wasn't just a random post or a piece of a forgotten shed. This was something built with a purpose. The air on the island grew thick with excitement and a little bit of fear. Some of the early expert opinions floating around suggested the wood could be from as far back as the medieval period. Can you believe that? Medieval! Because of this one borehole, a massive full-scale excavation is now being planned for the area known as Lot 5. Every time they dig, a new piece of the puzzle clicks into place, and that's what keeps Rick, Marty, and the entire crew going. The biggest question on everyone's mind is whether these clues will finally lead them to the legendary treasure tunnel. But what they pulled from the depths of that hole was far more complex than just a few pieces of wood, and it pointed to something much, much bigger hiding just out of sight. The team's excitement was off the charts. As the drilling at Borehole D05 and 27 pushed deeper, more and more wood fragments were brought to the surface from different depths.
Oh, goody. Wood?
I think so.
All right. Take the bit right over. Whoa. Bring it on over. Okay. That's 83, or 93, sorry. 93. 93. Wow.
This wasn't just a single layer, it was a repeated pattern, a sure sign of a significant man-made construction buried deep underground. Rick Lagina, ever the thoughtful leader of the fellowship, couldn't hide his intense focus. He firmly believed that finding this much wood at these depths could only mean one thing: they were on top of a tunnel or a collapsed structure built by human hands hundreds of years ago. You could see the hope in his eyes. This was the kind of evidence he'd been dreaming of since he first read about the island as a boy. His brother, Marty Lagina, who was often the more skeptical of the two, seemed genuinely thrilled by this development. He pointed out that these are the exact kinds of clues that bring them closer to understanding the real, untold history of Oak Island. Meanwhile, the team's geologist, Dr. Ian Spooner, immediately got to work studying the wood samples. His job was critical: figure out how old the wood is and what type of trees it came from. This information could pinpoint a time period and maybe even a country of origin. Seeing the potential, metal detection expert Gary Drayton urged them to widen the search area. He had a hunch that this structure was just one small part of a much larger hidden complex nearby. For the team, this new discovery wasn't just another find, it was a burst of renewed hope, a powerful sign that they were on the right path. It felt like they were finally about to uncover the secret Oak Island has been guarding so fiercely for all these years. The evidence was piling up, but to get to the truth, they knew they would have to change their entire approach to the dig. This time, the preparations for digging on Oak Island felt different, more urgent. The focus was locked on the garden shaft area, where they now suspected a tunnel lies about 100 feet below the surface. And get this, many on the team believe this isn't just any tunnel. It could be the main artery leading directly to the treasure vault. The Duma Mining Company, which has worked with the team before, was brought back in, but this time with better resources and all the necessary permissions to go deeper than ever before. Their mission was crystal clear: excavate at least 98 feet down from the garden shaft to finally reach the tunnel that might explain the tantalizing metal signals Gary Drayton found way back in the first season. The team was hoping this summer season would be their big break, a chance to make up for lost time after the harsh winter forced them to stop. But here's where things get really interesting. They decided to change their digging method. Instead of just drilling straight down, the team is now planning to dig sideways, a technique called lateral tunneling. The whole idea is to explore the area around and underneath the main shaft. Why? Because there might be a secret room or an offset chamber that previous searchers missed entirely. Their ultimate target for this new sideways tunnel is a location they've codenamed the Baby Blob, a spot where scientific data has shown a high likelihood of something big and possibly valuable is hidden. Although it will take a few weeks to get the lateral dig started, just seeing the initial preparations made it obvious that the team's enthusiasm was at an all-time high. This wasn't just digging anymore, it was a full-blown underground investigation. And while the heavy machinery was being set up at the garden shaft, a parallel investigation over on Lot 5 was about to deliver another shocking twist to the story. Echoes from Lot 5. While all the action was happening at the new borehole, archaeologists were also working carefully over on Lot 5. This patch of land has always been special, giving up some major clues in the past. Now it was in the spotlight once again. Archaeologist Helen Sheldon, while carefully clearing layers of soil, uncovered a structure that looked like it had been deliberately pressed down and cut. This wasn't natural. It was a clear sign of secret activity from long ago, and she immediately suspected it might have a direct connection to the garden shaft. At the same time, Gary Drayton and Peter Fornetti teamed up, sweeping the area with their metal detectors. Whenever those two worked together, they seemed to pull history right out of the ground, and this time was no different. They started finding things like an old cribbing spike, a type of large nail used in heavy timber construction, and other historical objects that pointed to a time when major building projects were happening on the island. These small finds are like breadcrumbs leading back to the original constructors. It's important to remember that back in 2022, the team had found 18th century pottery on Lot 5. But the most mind-blowing discovery was a man-made structure found here that measured about 13 feet around. That's the exact same measurement that was recorded for the original money pit when it was first discovered back in 1795. Coincidence? Not likely. Now, Gary and Peter are planning to investigate this area even more deeply, hoping that something else is buried beneath Lot 5 that will finally help connect all these scattered dots. The discovery of a second money pit was stunning, but nothing could prepare them for the mysterious rectangular object they were about to unearth. As the excavation on Lot 5 continued, the team hit something that made everyone stop in their tracks. Buried in the earth was a large, clearly defined rectangular structure. They nicknamed it the Disco, short for discovery, and its depth and construction forced everyone to think in a completely new direction. Rick Lagina, looking over the site, noted that the entire area looked like a large pit that had been filled back in with stones. Crucially, everything they found within the fill was very old. There was absolutely no sign of modern contamination. Rick's theory is that this structure was intentionally buried at some point in the distant past. The big question, of course, is why? Marty Lagina, studying the feature, thought it could be directly related to the original money pit, or maybe, just maybe, it was part of an even earlier operation that no one knew about. This one discovery was giving the team a chance to re-examine everything they thought they knew about Lot 5. Archaeologist Laird Niven was called in to inspect the structure. He confirmed that its careful construction and the way it was buried made it unlike anything else they had found. He stressed that a detailed investigation was needed to figure out its true age and purpose. Ever the man of action, Gary Drayton suggested they immediately scan the entire structure with metal detectors to hunt for any other clues or artifacts that could tell its story. The team was left wrestling with a huge puzzle. Why was this structure built, and what was its real purpose? This mysterious feature was just the latest chapter in a story that began over 227 years ago with the discovery of a single strange hole on the other side of the island. To really get what's happening now, you have to look back. The most explored site on Oak Island is, without a doubt, the Money Pit. The story goes that back in 1795, a young man named Daniel McGinnis and his friends found a sunken-in spot on the ground. When they started digging, they found a platform of oak logs every 10 feet down, as if someone had built a deep, protected shaft. For over 200 years, this pit has been the epicenter of one of the longest and most expensive treasure hunts in history. The problem is, during a massive dig in the 1960s, several tunnels collapsed, filling the entire area with mud, water, and debris. Since then, its exact location has been lost to time. The Lagina brothers have been trying to relocate that original shaft, hoping they are getting close. The island's biggest challenge has always been the water. As soon as any excavation gets deep enough, tunnels flood and work has to stop. It's believed these aren't natural floods but are part of an ingenious booby trap. A tunnel, maybe 500 feet long, is thought to have been dug from a nearby beach called Smith's Cove, designed to fill the Money Pit with seawater. Over the centuries, wild theories have popped up. Some believe the treasure of the infamous pirate Captain Kidd is buried there. Others link it to secret codes in William Shakespeare's plays, or most famously, to the lost treasure of the Knights Templar, a wealthy and powerful religious order that was wiped out in the 14th century. Randall Sullivan, an author who has appeared on the show, champions the Captain Kidd theory, while Freemason Peter Amundsen has pushed the idea of a Templar-Shakespeare connection. Truth be told, it's a tangled web of history and rumor. In 2022, the team decided to test water samples from old boreholes, and what they found was a game changer. Dr. Ian Spooner, along with a team of chemists and hydrogeologists, discovered something amazing. Traces of gold dissolved in the water at depths between 80 and 120 feet. These traces were concentrated in that small area they now call the baby blob. This was the first real scientific proof that precious metals were, in fact, present deep underground. Spurred on by this, they started core drilling and hit tunnels that had no historical record. In 3 different holes at a depth of about 95 feet, they confirmed the existence of a tunnel running right under the garden shaft and through the heart of the baby blob, the very place where the data showed the strongest signals for gold and silver. But that wasn't the only shocker. During this same drilling operation, they found wood from a structure located 82 feet deep. At first, they thought it was just part of an 18th century searcher shaft. But when a piece of that wood was sent for carbon dating, the results were stunning. The wood dated back to 1735. That's about 60 years before the Money Pit was supposedly first discovered. This proves that someone was undertaking a major deep construction project on Oak Island long before Daniel McGinnis ever set foot there. It completely changes the timeline of the mystery. Now, working with the Duma Company, the Lagina brothers are trying to carefully reconstruct this old shaft so they can safely excavate inside it. Even more amazing, some of the wood pieces they've recovered have also been found to contain traces of gold. All these signs point to one incredible conclusion. Just a few feet below where they stand, there is an ancient tunnel, potentially filled with treasure, that has been waiting for centuries to be found. What if the Oak Island treasure was never meant to be found because it hides something the world was never supposed to know? Let us know in the comments. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and follow us as we dig deeper into history's darkest secrets.